Good morning. Today we're going to continue on with material that you need to be familiar with for BC Calculus or Calc 2, which is polar functions or polar equations. So today we're going to talk about how to plot points in the polar coordinate system and find polar coordinates. So a few things you need to know is when we're graphing in the polar coordinate system, it looks like the unit circle but extended out. So this would be your unit circle here where everything is 1. And then 2, 3, 4, 5. Angle measures are all the same, so you see those labels there. The polar axis is a horizontal ray that extends to the right from the origin. The pole is the endpoint of the ray. Polar coordinates, a point P in the polar coordinate system is represented by an ordered pair of numbers r, comma, theta, where r is the directed distance from the pole to the point, and theta is an angle from the polar axis to the line segment. Okay, so let's make this easy. We're going to go ahead and just plot the points. Okay, before we do that, we have the sine. So there's a typo there. I apologize for that. It's located the absolute value of r units from the pole. If r is greater than 0, the point lies on the terminal side. If it's less than 0, you have to go opposite direction. Okay, so if you have a negative r, that means you would go to the positive r and then reverse it. So kind of reflect it across the origin. If r equals 0, then the point lies at the pole or the origin, regardless of the value of theta. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and plot this. And if you remember your unit circle, which hopefully you haven't forgotten, we've got a 90-degree angle here. So 135 is actually right here. It's 90 plus 45. So 135, and we're going out 2. So 1, 2, and that's our point. For the next one, 3 pi over 2. So we have pi over 2, pi. This is 3 pi over 2. And 3 would be this way, but since it's negative, we're going to go the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then pi over 4, negative 1. Well, pi over 4 is right here. So positive 1 would be here. Negative 1, we're going to go the opposite direction. 1. There's also different ways to find the same point, so multiple representations. So we can either add 2n pi to our theta, or we could change the sign of r and add pi plus 2n pi. So what you're going to find here is there's a point that you are given, and they want to know another representation of the point. Okay, so if this point is at, let's see, 1, 2, 3. So this is pi over 3. So the point right now is 1, 2, pi over 3, which we are given. If we are going to find a point, the same point, but using an angle between 2 pi and 4 pi, our r will stay the same, and we're going to do pi over 3 plus 2 pi. And then simplify that to get the point 2, and then 2 pi plus pi over 3, so this is 6 plus 1 would be 7 pi over 3. Okay, if r is negative, and we're between 0 and 2 pi, okay, so we're making that 2 negative, the angle that is essentially across the pole would be right here. So if we count that out, we have pi over 3, 2 pi over 3, 3 pi over 3. This is 4 pi over 3. So if I went to 4 pi over 3 and then negative 2, I would get the same point. Another way to find that is to do pi over 3 plus pi, since we're not going all the way around. Okay, now if we're going backwards, okay, r is positive, so we still have 2. And then instead of going positive pi over 3, we would have to go clockwise, backwards, pi over 3 minus 2 pi. So pi over 3 minus 2 pi is going to give us negative 5 pi over 3. That's all you're really doing in this first lesson. So go ahead and do the practice problems. Make sure you're comfortable with this and let us know if you have any questions. We do not have assessments built on Canvas. There are some extra practice problems in possibly Delta Math, Khan Academy, or CK to 12. Have a great day.